Hey everybody, my name is Mark, and today I want to talk to you about the Miguron Pagos II. Okay, so the Miguron Pagos II. The reason I'm doing this video, this is an older knife. You can still get these on eBay right now, actually. There's probably a few other places, but I know for a fact, right before I did this video, I kind of checked in on eBay, and there's a few of these. It's not the plain Jane version, so this is kind of their more expensive version. It's got, milled titanium scales and carbon fiber inlays. This is an M390 blade. So this version right now is going for between $180 and $200. And so it seems like a lot of money for what you're getting, but that's only if you consider it by its size. So to me, the reason that I didn't like this knife when I first got it and why it's kind of growing on me now is you kind of have to handle this knife for a while to realize, how good the build quality is and, kind of just what a good knife it is. I don't care for like short knives like this. I've got some knives that, like the blade length on this is 3.2 inches. And so that is coming up off the minimum 3 inch that I'll carry. I don't really like to carry really short blades, but this is 3.2, and so it's getting up there a little bit. I think the reason that I'm beginning to like this more is the more you handle it, even though it's kind of, short height-wise, the scales are kind of full thickness. And so it feels like a really substantial knife. And the build quality makes it feel even more substantial. Like this is kind of a little Cadillac of a knife. Like I said, it's got M390 steel, and Miguron hits, I think it's between 59 and 61 or something with their Rockwell readings. And so, the steel is going to be tempered right. It's just all around kind of a really good knife. It's got a really kind of snappy detent, and it's got a front flipper, and it's got these thumb studs that you can get in and pop it out. That was kind of a whiff, but you can pop that out. It's got a fuller all the way across the top of the blade, and you can just get it right at the edge there, and kind of, if you hold it just right, you can get underneath and do a reverse flick. You could probably, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. The thumb stud here is pretty close to the lock bar, and so it's hard for me to get my finger in there and do like a reverse flick. But this little fuller, I can catch it and, sling that blade out there. So it's kind of fidgety in that way. But what's so impressive is just the build quality. So, I mean, this is milled titanium with an M390 blade, and it feels substantial. If I was talking about like a 45, I would say that, yeah, this isn't the full-size 5-inch, and it's not the 4 1/4 commander size. This is like a little officer size. And that's fine, we need the officers too. But I guess in all seriousness, I would quantify this as kind of a larger gentleman's carry. This is a knife I could easily wear, like carry this with a suit. It's not going to weigh my pocket down or anything like that. But it's not one of those small knives that you're carrying just simply to have a knife, some kind of blade on you. It's not that kind of gentleman's carry. This is like a full-size regular knife. It's just thinner and kind of easier to carry, actually. But like I say, if you actually get a chance to handle this knife, you're going to feel how substantial it feels and how it feels just like quality. Everything is very tight. The tolerances are nice. It's running on bearings. This is a great little knife. So if I had a knife, like unless it was super expensive and I just wanted to show it off, you know, I would do a video like that, certainly. But with a knife like this, I can't call this a budget knife. You know, I got a really good deal on this. I think it was valued in the trade as like $115. So I got just a super deal on this. But even at like $180, this knife punches way above its weight. And I feel like after having this knife for a while and handling it and getting used to it, this is a $180 knife, you know? If I needed a knife like this, if I was still wearing a suit every day and wanted a smaller carry, and I wanted something kind of, you know, some of the designs out now, like this isn't a Gilgamesh, you know? You're not gonna buy this knife and they also give you some curly shoes to wear. This is like a gentleman's knife. This is, you know, this is quality, and this is, the design is, you know, I don't know. I think it's a great looking knife. So, I don't know. I want to see what kind of bearings this is running on, actually. I haven't had this knife open since I got it. So these are T6s on the pocket clip. So we're going to run this out real quick. And I just kind of want to see if these are an open cage or a closed cage bearing system. And I'm not going to take the whole thing apart. I just want to kind of, it feels like it's probably a captive pivot, which is great. And we're going to see. So I've got a lock bar insert. You know what? So these are these fully caged? No, they're open. So this is an open cage bearing. If this was a different knife, if it was more expensive and collectible, and I may still do it just because, you know, I plan on carrying this knife sometimes. I may get a set of skiffs and throw in here just because I don't really care for an open caged bearing system. I would rather have something, especially if you're carrying it in your pocket a lot. If it's a knife that you're going to carry quite a bit, I don't like the idea that pocket lint and other things are going to find their way into this open cage on this bearing. I would much rather have just a fully caged bearing set. So yeah, I think at some point I'm probably going to order some skiffs. So let me measure this real quick while I've got it open. And this isn't going to be, I swear to God, this isn't going to be one of my 45-minute videos. So this looks like, yeah, that's got to be a 1/16 bearing. And I guess I have to check the pivot. Oh, maybe I can do it with it in there. So the pivot is going to be 5 mil. So I'm going to have to order 1/16 by 5, or 5 mil by 1/16 skiffs, which I think I'm probably going to do because this is a decent knife and I want to carry it. So we're going to throw this back together real quick. It's a little dirty on the inside, so whoever had this before me must have had this open at some point. They probably had skips in there and then took them back out. And while we got it open, I got to throw a little oil in here just because I've wiped some stuff off since I've had it open. So I'm just real quickly gonna kind of swab in here and get a little bit of oil in there. And I'm gonna put some around this pivot. Just like that. And then I'm gonna throw this blade back in there. And since I've got this out in my hand, I'll just go ahead and oil this up like I normally would. Throw the washer back in there. Wipe my hand off a little. And then we're just going to throw this back together. So yeah, I am starting to really like this knife. I didn't in the beginning, but it's kind of grown on me. And I hope that someone out there sees this video and thinks, yeah, maybe I want to give that a try too. I will say, now that I'm looking at it, it's not a reversible pocket clip, which doesn't matter to me, but it probably will to some of y'all. So that sucks. But not for me. So the blade is centered, and I'm gonna check. These are bearings, and so I can go ahead and give it a pretty good snug up. Yeah. So the Miguron Pagos II, this is an excellent knife. And if somebody wants a smaller carry that is definitely quality and well made, and you're not going to have to worry about using it and still give you a blade length that's usable, you really need to check this out. Thanks for watching.